I am Callum from Tyne Valley Motorhomes, and this is the handover of the Bessacarr E442, which is a 2014 model. So as we start, we'll walk around on the outside of the driver's side of the vehicle first. The main point you get to is your freshwater filler. So to fill with fresh water, you use a key. This key will open all your external lockers. Put it in. When it's spinning, like so, it's locked. Turn it until you can grip it and take it out. And then all you need to do is put a hose pipe in there until it overflows, or until you know you've got enough water on board, which you can see on the gauge on the control panel. It's always best to carry some hose ends as well, because it's just normally a brass tap on site. So you'll need the screw on end and the hose lock. Under here you have storage underneath your bench seat, but underneath this panel there's some more storage, which has got a cover on there, so you can put your hookup leads, leveling ramps, bits and pieces in there. Here you have your Truma vent for your boiler. So your boiler is behind here underneath the bench seat as well, so this allows the fumes out for the gas when operating the hot water boiler. Fridge vents. You've got your wastewater underneath the vehicle, so this is any water you've put down a plug hole. So anything, any liquid goes into a waste holding tank, and you simply drive it over a grid on the way out of your site called the motorhome service bay, the waste disposal point, and you want to open this and drain out all the water that's in the tank. It's very important in the winter as well that this is drained off, as the water will freeze in the tank underneath if not. Above the waste you do have your cassette. So now get the cassette out, ensure that the blade is in the closed position, which is on the bottom bowl of the toilet. Then you'll be able to lift the orange handle slightly and slide it out. You do have a handle so you can wheel it to your waste disposal point, which is normally behind or beside your toilet and showering block on site. And then to empty, you'd simply remove the grey cap, press the button, which just allows air in, keeps it all flowing nicely. Put it to 90 degrees, empty it out. Once you've emptied it, there's normally a tap beside the cassette, or should I say the waste disposal point. Pop some water in the cassette, give it a rinse and tip out again. And then if you're using the liquid, you've got 120 ml of either the green or the blue chemical in the liquid form to go into here, and it's good to go. If you're using the tablet form, you put a pint of water into the cassette, either when it's out or pushing it in dry, and flushing a pint down into the cassette, followed by a tablet, which is either the blue or the green tablets. Ask your site which tablet or liquid they prefer you to use. Most sites will probably tell you the green now rather than the blue, as the green is more environmentally friendly and doesn't have any dye in it. Come to the back of the vehicle, you've got your high level reverse cameras, high level brake light, your ultra store box. So this is just a storage box which opens with this key here, so you can open it and put your deck chairs and various bits and pieces in there, storage. And then at the bottom you've got your tow trust bumper protection bar with your tow bar and 13-pin electrics. Coming round, you've got your awning light and your LPG, so this is your liquid petroleum gas blocker. So in here is where you can fit 2 6-kilogram propane bottles. So we've got our test bottle on at the moment, and you've got some straps so you can strap the bottle in when it's in position with the straps provided. So before you put the pigtail on, you put this head here around the top of the bottle and then tie it down onto the floor. Keeps the bottle in place when traveling. And to connect the pigtail to the bottle, it is a left hand thread, so it's opposite threads. Your hand tighten, no need for a spanner, and turn on and off from the top of the bottle. Always turn it off when you travel and turn it back on when you get to site. And at the back it tells you about the crash sensor reset. So if you were struggling to get gas through, if you just press this green little button here in onto the crash valve, it allows the regulator to allow the gas into the vehicle. And obviously you can carry a spare bottle as well. You've got your mains connectivity point here. So to connect with mains, you get your hooker blade, lift the collar and slide on. Hook the vehicle up first and then the source, and obviously do it in reverse when unhooking by pressing the blue clip down when unhooking. And you'll also notice you've got an external point for a TV, so if you did go to a super site, you can connect a coax lead to there and to their aerial, and it'll save using your aerial on the motorhome. Coming at the front, you've got your diesel filler, so it opens with the main ignition key and you can fill with fuel, which is diesel. Tyre pressure, so 5 bar on the front, which is 72.3 psi, 5.5 bar on the back, which is 79.5 psi. Your jackknip brace and towing eye lives in the toolkit underneath the passenger seat, and the engine battery is underneath the cab floor, so underneath this panel. Bonnet release is on the side of the dashboard on the passenger side, so if we have a quick look. You've got all your fluids to the left hand side, so you've got your screen wash at the back, then your power steering fluid, your brake fluid and your radiator coolant. Your paint code on here, which is 249 for the blank or white, oil filler and dipstick, and then positive underneath this cap here for giving or receiving a jump start, and you would earth off the front there by the side, the headlight. So above the habitation door, you've got your 12 volt main control panel. So if you press the power button here, it'll tell you first of all if you're hooked up or not, and if you're hooked up you'll get these two lights, one at the post, one at the back of the van, indicating that mains electric is coming on board. If you didn't have that, pressing power will only turn on the 12 volt leisure battery, which is underneath your seat in the lounge, which I'll show you in a second. Then you've got your various other switches, so you've got your cabin lights, which turn on all the lights throughout the motorhome. This is like the master switch for them, and then they all are individually switched around the vehicle. You can view your levels, so you can view your leisure, your vehicle, your fresh water and your wastewater. There, so vehicle, leisure, fresh, waste by pressing view levels. Your water pump, you can turn your water pump on if you wanted to use the water. Should you have enough water on board, turn it on. If you didn't have any water on board, don't turn it on because you'll burn the pump out. And this would then pressurize the water to the taps, toilet and shower. If you didn't have this on, you would just get whatever was left in the pipelines, and then it would fade out, so you would need to turn your pump on. Frost protect is if it's going to freeze overnight, it puts some current through the water in the tanks below the chassis to stop them freezing, so that you don't wake up to frozen water. So to operate, you've got the motorhome in the top corner. This is how hot you want the interior of the motorhome to be. So you've got all the way to 30 degrees or all the way to off. Off if you didn't want the heating on, or 30 degrees being the highest setting that they can be. Press enter on the black wheel will save that temperature, so it's set it to 30 degrees on the heating. And then next you've got a thermometer in water, so this is how hot you want the water to be. Obviously if you didn't have any water on board, don't put the water on, because it'll be like boiling a kettle without any water in, you'll burn the element. So you've got off, you've got 40 degrees, you've got 60 degrees, or you've got boost. Boost will prioritize the water first and turn the heating off if it's on, to get the water to temperature before putting the heating back on. So for this we'll just say 60 degrees, press enter, it'll save that. Moving further along, you've got your energy source. So you've got gas if you're wild camping and you didn't have any 240 hookup. You've got mix 1, which is 1 kilowatt of electric and gas. You've got mix 2, which is 2 kilowatts of electric and gas. This is the biggest source that there is on this panel. So if you are desperate for hot water or heating in the winter months, use mix 2 for the first 20 minutes or so before turning it down to either electric on 1 kilowatt or electric on 2. Normally you would use electric on 2 kilowatts throughout the UK, but if you are using a high voltage appliance at the same time, turn it down to electric on 1. Smaller CL sites, I'll probably prefer you to use electric on 1, but all depends on what source, or should I say what amperage through the source you get on your campsite. So ask your site what they prefer you to use. After this energy source, you've got your fan, so you can have it on eco or high. Eco is a smaller feed of 12 volt and you don't really hear them on eco, and high you can hear the fans really working to get the vehicle to temperature. So if you were sleeping, I'd prefer that you've had it on eco to high, because eco is far quieter when you're trying to sleep. Coming down to the bottom left, you've got a timer, so you can time it to come on and off. Got a time for the main clock on the main display panel, and should you get a triangle in the middle there, you'd go to the settings, go to reset, click on it, it'll come up preset, click again, and it'll do a reset on the main control panel, and you'd have to manually go in and reset all the heating, the hot water, the source, the fan again, and then to turn on and off you would just press and hold and it'll turn off the digital control panel. So to operate your toilet, ensure that the pump is on, and then what you'll be able to do is press the blue button at the back, which is your fresh water flush from your main tank, and you will get flush like so. So always flush the toilet first, which lubricates the seal on the blade, and then use the blade handle, which is this grey lever here, to open the blade. Use the toilet with the blade open, then flush after use, and then slide the blade back to the left position to shut it, and then that'll allow you to get the cassette out the outside of the vehicle when it's full. And when it is full, you'll get notified by a light here underneath the cassette diagram there on the top right hand corner. Got your wardrobe with hanging rail in the washroom and storage below. Light switch. And your water's getting up to temperature there. And some more storage underneath for toiletries. And then you do have your large shower cubicle. So always make sure that the turnbuckles on the shower doors to keep them back when you're travelling, stop them making noise. And then when you do winterize, if you remove your shower head from your hose, allow your shower hose to lie in your shower tray with your mixer taps open in the middle position. This will just stop any water that's in the pipelines behind. It'll drain out, and any water that's in this pipe will drain out as well in the waste, and the waste would be open from outside, and it'll prevent any airlocks or any water from freezing in the plastic pipes throughout the motorhome. Now in your kitchen area, so you've got 3 gas burners, 1 electric. The electric is this side, so the right hand side. So you've got to be on 240 mains hook up for this to work. And then you do have 3 gas rings. There you go, so you've got 3 lit gas rings to ensure that the control panel's on for the 12 volt ignition. And then below you've got your grill. And below your grill you've got your oven. You may want to take your grill pan and oven shelves out when travelling, or wrap them up, as they can cause a bit of rattling when on the road. And then underneath you've got your main plug for your electric hot plate, so if that's giving you any issues you can unplug it. And to this side you've got your gas taps for your various items, which are all listed here. What they do, any problems with gas, turn the bottle off to be safe. These are mainly for when the vehicle is habitation serviced by a technician. They'll check the gas is working to standard. In this cupboard here is where you'll find your freestanding table, so you can have that at the front in the lounge or outside if it's a nice day. Your microwave is an 800 watt microwave that's a mains powered, so it only works when hooked up. And you've got your large cupboards there for storage of plates and cups. And there you do have your plug for your microwave, so ensure that that is turned on. And you'll also notice this vehicle is fitted with a Road Pro satellite system, so to operate that all you need to do is turn it on at the top, you press this to change your satellite, but you want to find Astra 2N in this country. You do have Astra 2S, which you can use further down into France and Spain, and then you can use various different ones when abroad. So just look on an app, a satellite app, when abroad. If you're going to take it to Portugal, Spain, you will need to change the satellite by just pressing here. You'll get this little light here, so you get the red means power, green means the LMB's working, and then orange means it's locked on and it's found the signal. So then it's good to go, and you can just tune your telly in. And then you just knock it off at the top. But this is a dome, it's not a dish, so don't need to worry about driving away with the dish up. It is just a fixed dome on the roof of this vehicle. Coming down, you've got some storage with the cutlery drawer beside your fridge. And then to operate your fridge, it's a Dometic fridge, so you turn on and off here just by pressing and holding. Then you've got 3 sources, so you've got mains hookup, gas when while camping, and battery, which is designed when the vehicle is running. The engine alternator will send a feed to the fridge just to keep it at the same temperature it was at when departing, so you pre-chill it beforehand. But what A does, A is automatic energy selection, so if you've got A selected, it will find the best source available at any time. So we have hookup on at the moment and gas, it's when to hook up. If I was to go out and unhook the vehicle, it would switch over to gas and self-ignite. If I was then to start the engine, it would switch over to the main, to the 12 volt setting. So if you're lucky enough to keep this at home, a couple of days beforehand, put it on hookup and chill it. Put your shopping in the night before, and then when you are ready to travel, if it's on A, you don't need to worry, it'll automatically switch over to the battery setting. If not, you can just press that, and as soon as you've started the engine, it will give a feed of 12 volt. And got your freezer box in there, and then when winterizing, if you just push this lug in here, it'll pull these 2 pins out, and what that does is it stops the door from shutting on itself and allows air circulation in. So you would do that once you've cleaned it out to stop any mold or bacteria growing in your fridge. And then you've got your large cutlery tray there as well above the fridge. Opposite the kitchen, you've got 2 large storage drawers, or should I say cupboards. In here, this is your power supply unit, the E442. So all of these are on when on electric, so just leave them lit up. They'll only work when hooked up, so forget about them. But if you did have any problems with your charger or your heating and hot water on electric, you can just make sure that you haven't knocked these off. You've got your RCD and your regular trip test and your MCB. So check here if you've tripped the vehicle out with a kettle or a hairdryer before you check your main sight. And below you've got all your 12 volt fuses which are listed on the door there, what does what. So it might be a good idea to carry some spares with you. And you'll also notice at the top here you've got your solar panel. So your solar panel's doing its own thing. You can see at on this regulator here they're both flashing, so it's charging the vehicle and the engine battery. They're both flashing, which means that it is fully charged. But you can see on the display meter how much charge and amperage is going into each battery on here. But the solar panels just do their own thing, so it's nothing to be worried about. Just let them do what they need to do, and they'll only be as good as the sun in the sky. So in the summer, brilliant. In the winter, not so good. But if you get a good sunny day, it will be putting some charge into the battery. So beside the kitchen is where you'll find the location of your Truma boiler. So the boiler heats the vehicle and also heats the water. So there's a 10-litre water container within this boiler. So it's very important in the winter that you drain this off, because you don't want that 10 litres of water to become frozen, because it will crack the water container, which then will crack the boiler, and it isn't covered under warranty, as it's your responsibility to drain the vehicle down. So to drain it down, located beside it, you've got your water pump, but in between the water pump and the boiler is where you'll find this little yellow toggle. So the yellow toggle is your Winterize Drain down tap, and when it's lying down like so, it's holding 10 litres of water. If you lift it up, the 10 litres of water will drain directly out underneath the chassis. Leave it stood up like so during the time you've got the vehicle stood up in storage, and then when you do come to use it, if you just knock it down like that, you would fill it with fresh water from outside, because when you winterize, you'd leave all the mixer taps open. You'd open the fresh and the waste tanks. So make sure that they're both closed before you do start filling with water. Shut all the taps within the vehicle. Come in, put the pump on, go to the cold side of the tap first, you'll get automatic cold water. Go to the hot side, it will cough, splutter, make all sorts of noises, because what it's doing is it's drawing it from the fresh tank, which is under here, into the boiler, pushing the 10 litres of air that it's accumulated out through the tap. So if it's cough, splitters, does all sorts of noises, don't be alarmed, just let it do its thing until water does come through. And that normally takes between 3 and 4 minutes to get water to one tap. Then you would do them all, and your system would be primed for the season. But make sure that you drain this down, because if not, it's a very costly mistake. And it's about £3,000 to replace one of these. So please drain it down by using the little drain down toggle on the right hand side. Underneath the floor in the lounge is where you'll find your freshwater tank. So if you lift this off, in between the chassis of the vehicle, you'll see the tank. If you take the cap off, and you'll notice you can see the orange plug in there. If you just pull that out, that'll drain off all the fresh water in the tank. So if you've taken on contaminated water, you're not using the vehicle for a few weeks, you don't want the water to go stale, or you're winterizing it, you'd allow all the water out by just pulling the plug off, and it will drain directly out underneath the vehicle. Please allow it out in the winter, otherwise if you didn't, you could crack this tank, and the pipes are all plastic on the motorhome, and you can cause a lot of damage. So drain it down by removing the plug in the winter especially, so it doesn't freeze. To make your beds now, so to make your beds so you can use them as 2 singles as are long enough, or if you want to make them into a double, you just slide them out into each other. So lift and slide, and then you'd use the backrests into the middle here to form the double bed. So now in the cab, To the right of the driver you have your handbrake, and then on the door you've got your electric windows, passenger and driver, an electric mirror adjustment, which is 2 mirrors on each side, so you've got the top and the bottom, which is the blind spot. To black the passenger and driver doors out on an evening. Pinch the Bessacarr blinds and slide them down, and you can black out the passenger and driver door. And then to do the windscreen, you just pinch, slide along. You will have to just adjust this mirror ever so slightly for them to clip together. And then you do have your reversing camera, so if you go into reverse, your reversing camera comes on. And then down by the right of the driver you do have your headlight adjustment, your trip computer, which goes through your average and instant consumption, your range, your travelling times, distance travelled and time it's taken to travel that distance on the end of the wiper stalk. Lights and indicators, cruise control, so you just turn it on, get your desired speed, push up, set, push up to accelerate, pull down to slow down, and to cancel you can either press the brake or you can press here, and then to reset you just push it back up. 6-speed manual gearbox. You've got your heated mirrors, your rear fog lights, your hazards. This locks the doors to all 3, so the 2 cab doors and the habitation door, and unlocks them. You've got a locked glove box here, which you'll use the key to open and close. 2 12-volt points. Temperature on the outside ring. Fan speed on the in must be on at least 1 or more for the aircon to work, which is this button here, which lights up orange. And then you've got your distribution, so where you wanted to go to, face, feet or screen, and whether you're circulating air or you're bringing fresh air in. Your radios, FM, AM, press 1 to 6 to save your favourite channels. You can put a CD in by pressing media, and that would be how you would input your CD at the top. You've got audio, so you can adjust the audio settings, and then you've got your settings, so you can go through the menu, which is all explained in your handbooks, but you shouldn't really need to do that. But you do have your volume in the middle as well. Glove box here, and glove box on the top of the driver's dashboard, which is heated and cooled by the air conditioning. So if you've got anything nice to keep in there, like chocolates, sweets, especially in the summer when the aircon's on, they'll stay nice and cool and save you getting up and down from the fridge.